Hello, everybody. Today we're going to mix a song called No More, and it's one of those rock songs. And I'm gonna show you which plugins I've used all throughout this mixer track, so that we could get the sound that you know sounded like this record. Take a listen.
There's a part of me that thought that maybe I'd still have a shot. Then I found my foot in my mouth, and it went even further south. I realize I've ruined this beyond repair. This relationship never even had a prayer. All I wanted to do was to be the man that you run to. All I needed to do was to be there for you. But I went and screwed it up, and I know I'll never measure up. So now all I'm trying to do is to not think so much about you. I know now I can't get you back. You found someone with what I lack. I've severed all of our ties. There's no more reason to try. I realize I've ruined this beyond repair. This relationship never even had a prayer. All I wanted to do was to be the man that you run to. All I needed to do was to be there for you. But I went and screwed it up, and I know I'll never measure up. So now all I'm trying to do is to not think so much about you. No more turning back. No more coming back. No more turning back. No more coming back.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That song is called No More. Today I'm gonna show you which plugins I have for the master bus. Let's start with the master bus, alright? This one here, this is just a trim plugin. The reason why I have this plugin here is so that I could control the amount of volume for every signal here, for every signal from the vocals to the drums, alright, to the bass guitar, to the acoustic guitar, to the electric guitars, to the pads, and even to the strings. Basically, it's every single instrument, musical instrument that goes through towards this master bus. Alright? If you pay attention to my left, to your left, this is the master bus. Everything runs through here, alright? That's what I have this plugin for, alright? It's just for gain or trim, should I say. Moving on, we have this VU meter right here. This is going to help me measure the amount of volume that I have, so that it will be able to tell me how much I need to turn down on this trim plugin over here. I have it set at negative 18 decibels full scale, if I'm not mistaken. That's what it's called, because that's usually where that's the sweet spot for every plugin, you have. Well, not every plugin, at least most plugins, so that when this view meter hits 0, that means to say, that tells me the amount of signal that's coming in from all sources to this master bus is negative 18 decibels. That's the sweet spot for every other plugin I have. If you're gonna look on my left over here, alright, moving on. Fruity Fast Distortion. This distortion right here, this for me, I have a preset called Analog Console. That's my current preset for this one here. It's basically a distortion plugin where the mix is just 12%. That as you can see up top right here on the hint panel, and then as I hover my mouse over this mix knob, it's just 12%. It's very subtle. What this does is it helps so that my entire track, my entire mix will be distorted, kind of saturated. I'm not really sure if it's going to emulate analog consoles, the mixers that they use on a typical studio, but here it is. That's my preset. That's it. It's just this 12% mix, a little bit of distortion, just to kind of make it warm a little bit. Moving on, we have this F6 dynamic EQ. All right. First of all, I set a high pass filter of 24. The Q is 24 decibels per octave. That means to say that when you go up or down on each decibel, it is reduced. The next octave will be reduced by 24 decibels. And I have it set at 23 hertz. You ask me why? Because I really don't want too much, like bottom end, like on this area, 30 and below. Not too much, not for this track. I kind of want to leave headroom for frequencies like 63 and 120. That's pretty much it. That's the purpose of this filter right here. Okay, moving on, we're gonna move to filter number 5. I have it set at 2888 hertz. The Q factor is 1, and I have it set on 1, and that's it. Just to kind of make it a little bit bright. And with this one here, just to kind of boost the high-end textures, everything, from the rasp of the voice to, it could even affect a little bit of the drums. And since we have an acoustic guitar, I kind of wanted to present that in the whole mix, so that's why I gave it this boost. This is a high shelf set at 6K, Q factor of 1, and a gain of 2. Right, that's pretty much it. Those are the settings that I've messed with. All right, moving on. SSL comp stereo. This compressor, or so-called glue, right here. It's basically what I have this set is I kind of wanna glue the entire song so that it will sound a little more, should I say, more glued, or the term is actually it will sound more together. It'll sound more close to each other, because what I'm doing with this is you're essentially reducing the dynamic range of the song. And what dynamic range is that it is the difference between your loudest signal to your quietest signal, to the quietest possible signal. you know I just did that. My settings here is 30 ms so that I don't kill the transients. Fastest attack setting, which is 100 ms. My ratio setting is 10 to 1, and I also turned on the analog. My threshold here is 9.3 decibels. Any peak that hits 9.3 decibels will be compressed after you allow 30 milliseconds of pre-delay. This acts more like a pre-delay, should I say? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. Alright, and the makeup gain, I have it at 1 decibel, just to make up some of that volume lost. And it will also, glue the song even further. Alright, moving on. This one here it's another trim plugin, kind of like this one here, the first one, And then my last plugin for the master bus is this span. This is going to tell you your correlation meter, just to make sure you're not out of phase while mixing. It has also this this meter right here, and it'll also tell you your RMS values, your max crest factor, your clippings. It'll tell you your peaks, everything that you need to know for your mix. This is all there is to it. It'll even tell you your frequency curve right here. Alright, moving on. Let's go to the vocal bus. Anyway, what I have here is you might seem to think that it's nothing. There's no processing here. Well, actually there is. What I have here is just a little bit of de-essing, for the whole vocal. Since this is the whole vocal bus, it'll actually help de-ess, everything. Basically, on every signal that hits a certain threshold, which is -9 decibels, and then my attack setting is 0.5 ms, quickest setting, to catch all of those sibilants. My release is set to 5 ms, quickest release, dude. And my range, that's how much I'm going to reduce whenever it hits too much, at a certain threshold. My Q factor is 1.2, and this band token right here is set to 6442 hertz, 6442 hertz. Alright, moving on. Let's go to the drums. Alright. Going here, I have another high pass filter at 25 hertz, but this time the Q factor is 12 decibels per octave. That means to say, for every lower octave, it is going to be reduced by 12 decibels. That's what it is. Let's say, for example, you set it at 25. So if you divide 25 by 2, it's going to be 12.5. Alright? What it's going to do with that 12.5 hertz is it's going to be reduced by 12 decibels. That's just how it works. Alright? Again, here's the thing, alright? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. If I made a mistake, let me know. I can learn from you all as well. Alright? And then moving on, we have here at 8K at the Q factor of 0.4, 1 decibel gain. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all there is to do. Well, at least for me, for this drum bus. All right. Anyway, moving on. For our acoustic guitar, I started to boost a little bit of 506. I didn't want it to be too thin, so I boosted it by 506 by 3 decibels. And for this one here, I also boosted 6K at 2 decibels at the Q factor of 1, all for the textures of the acoustic guitar. That's the reason why I did that. I want my acoustic guitar to be crispy, to be not really crispy but more like clear, and I want to hear those high registers, whenever you, especially with a steel acoustic guitar, I want to hear those high registers. Moving on. We have our first compressor here for our acoustic guitar. It is set to negative 9.3 decibels, the threshold. And when we have a ratio of 2 to 1, I didn't, I just wanted to slightly compress the acoustic guitar, because when I started over compressing it, it started to get too distorted. It's almost like it's an electric guitar, not an acoustic guitar anymore. And my attack is set to the fastest setting. My release set to 100 ms. My curve, at least that's the curve of the attack and the release, it's set to 2. Yeah, there you have it. And my makeup gain is 2 decibels, since I'm compressing 2 decibels, so therefore I set the makeup gain to 2 decibels as well. Alright, next one here. This compressor is not doing anything. As you can see, the peak reduction is set to 0. That's the setting right here. And then this one here is set to unity gain. It's not this is actually a compressor, but it's not compressing anything. Why do you ask me, Mike, why? Well, the reason why is because I just wanted to have a little bit of the circuitry of this plugin to go through, so that the acoustic guitar signal will go through this, and it will just, it will just trigger the saturation you get from this plugin, and that's all there is to it. I also added a little bit of distortion right here. It's not actually too distorted, but I only added it a little bit just to saturate the acoustic guitar for a little bit. Alright, moving on to the electric guitar bus. I have my distortion threshold set to 90%. By the way, for those of you guys who don't use FL Studio, this plugin right here, this distortion plugin right here, this is a default, or this is a stock plugin for FL Studio, and yeah, you can only find this on FL Studio, unfortunately. Anyway, the threshold is set to 90%. Like, what this threshold does is it'll only saturate like 90% of the of the frequencies of whatever is going through this plugin. It's not gonna saturate anything like beyond. You're just saturating 90% of it. Right? And I have my mix. Since these are electric guitars, I have my mix. I'm not really it's, to be honest, it's still a little bit conservative, but it's going to have the entire mix. I have it set to 25% for this is for the electric guitars. Alright, moving on. For my F6, for my EQ, I have token 4 set to 2500 Hertz, Q factor of 1. The gain is 2 decibels. Alright? It's a little bit of that high mid, I should say. High mid register, to kind of make it a little bit more bright. You know what I'm saying? And I also have the 8K right here, Q factor of 1, 2 decibels gain. What this is for is, see, remember that we pulled up a fast distortion, all right? It, like, what this does is it's gonna show up in this EQ spectrum that there are frequencies over here. That's the saturation. So I'm basically boosting the high textures here. That doesn't sound like the acoustic guitar, but it's actually from the electric guitar. You know, it's actually from this. To be more specific, it's from this distortion plugin. You know, that's what I'm boosting. I kind of wanna bring that up a little more. You know, that's the purpose of this boost right here. Okay, moving on to the strings. All right, I set it to 4K, 0.9 Q factor, and the gain 6 decibels. You know, 6. That's not really conservative at all. Like, that's in your bus of the violin, of your second violin, of your first viola, second viola, all of them, you know, bussed up in this bus here, and it's just set to, I'm just boosting 4K at 6 decibels, dude. That's not conservative at all. Alright? Moving on. We have our compressor here set to negative, the threshold set to negative 12.7 decibels with the ratio set to 2:1. I don't want to overcompress it. And, you know, fastest attack time, and the release time is at 100 ms. Same thing here, the curve is 2, and your makeup gain is 2. The reason why I have this compressor is I kind of want to glue, alright? As you notice, you might have noticed that what I'm doing with my mix is I'm gluing I've glued the entire thing here at the master bus, and I'm gluing it even further at each bus, you know, like on this bus right here, glued it here with this distortion of electric guitars, you know, glued the acoustic guitars with one compressor, even the drums, glued the whole thing, you know, with this setting as well. And there you have it, you know. That's all I did with my entire buses, you know. With the reason why I'm bringing up this compressor is so that I will glue the entire thing, you know. I will glue the drums, I will glue the vocals, I will glue, well, actually my vocals, that was my bad, my vocals don't have any glue. My master bus has a glue, my drum bus has a glue, my acoustic guitar bus has a glue, and then my electric guitar bus has this glue right here, this distortion, and my string section. They're all glued, alright? That's what it is, you know. In fact, for my strings, that's all of the plugins I've used. Just 2 plugins. This EQ here, and this compressor right here, you know. Yeah, and there you have it. That's all for the buses, you know. Stay tuned for next video. I'm gonna continue, and I'm gonna move on to individual instruments so that you guys would know what I have done further other than processing my bus, you know, other than doing something for my master bus, other than doing something for every bus, you know, there is in this mix. Alright, thank you very much for watching. By the way, if you have questions, you have your comment section down below, and it will actually give you the very thing that you want to provide, whether you want to provide feedback, or whether you want to you have questions for this mix, or maybe you want me to do something else, you know. It's all in the comment section. Like, I wouldn't really know what you guys want, you know, if there aren't any comments for this video. But what I'm saying is, also what I'm saying, but then again, what I'm saying is, you don't have to leave a comment if you don't want to. That's fine as well, you know. Anyway, so if you like this video, share this video for wherever, whichever platform you have, Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is, Instagram. Share this video, you know, so if somebody wants to learn how to mix this song. All right. Thank you very much. Stay tuned for the next video.